And to Lady B, to answer your question from before about the helmets, Mandalorians can never take their helmets off ever.
Well,
and it's so frustrating. Like the
certain
whole
cult, it's that cult.
If you're part of the weirdo cult,
right.
other Mandalorians think is nutty.
I know, which is weird because if you go back to like the prequels, that's like Jango Fett does.
Yeah.
And you see how the clones look like him, and you're like,
yeah, you're right. And they talk about this because he is Din Djarin, this character in The Mandalorian, is part of a sort of a fringe religious cult, a fundamentalist cult that believes that follows the religion of Mandalore, and they don't take off their helmets. And the other Mandalorians are like, you're out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
why though? Man, they're like bounty hunters. Like,
it adds mystique. I understand.
I mean, could she turn out? Could the blacksmith turn out to be the evil one of this season? Like, I feel like they're gonna come to blows. Like, it's gonna. I
feel like Kamran knows.
No, I don't know.
But it does feel like, I mean, it's a cult. Like, how can he be like? How can they make this a good thing? That's what I'm saying. It's a cult. Like, you know,
he may very well do the heroic things he's supposed to do this season to cleanse himself of his sin of taking off his helmet, and they still don't accept him. Who knows? But you know, we don't know. I mean, who knows how it's going to go? It's it adds. But one of the things they've captured in this is something that Lucas had no problem with because he uses the word in the original Star Wars, religion.
Yeah,
the force is a religion, and you know that's actually the genius of it. Like think about 1977, you've got this thing, and you've got Darth Vader. He's a scary, like you think he might be a robot. You don't know what he is, and then he's a scary bad guy who's breathing, and then that defining moment where the Admiral mocks him, right? Admiral Mahdi, I think, says, mocks him, you haven't been able to use a force to find these the plans, right? You know, this mystical power that you've got, and he comes and he force strangles him, and we've never seen that before, and he force strangles him with his mind, but he says the pivotal thing: I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yep.
And you
maybe that's the thing now is like we can't talk about religion and you can't have any kind of spirituality in anything at all anymore, so they don't want to like make it.
Well, but that's the thing. Star Wars has always been the word.
I know, and it's like, come on, guys.
Vader is religious. They make it. Vader is a deeply religious guy.
Yes, very religious.
That they put out. He's like, you're going to insult my religion. I'm going to teach you. I mean, you didn't expect that character, right? The spine show, and that's because again, Lucas studied religion and understood.
Yeah, that's like the whole like hero journey of Luke is that he has to have faith, and he finds his faith in Dagobah with Yoda, and he's like, you have to believe you can do this. You have to believe to achieve and get the X-Wing out of the swamp, and that's like
you don't believe that is why you fail. Yes.
Yeah, and it's the whole like energetic thing of like self-belief and like. I don't know. We're not at the woo part of the stream yet, so I'll save it.
And Rey is floating with like 500 boulders, and she's just like flips over, like, oh, this is so boring.
I know. I hate that. There's no progression there. There's no learning. Nothing is earned. It's just like, bam, you have power. Bam, you have power. She do everything. Is so boring.
Written by people that don't understand religion, right? You know, I don't know Mr. Johnson. I would not be surprised if Rian Johnson turned out to be an atheist or at least a very aggressive agnostic, that I don't believe in anything I can't touch with my own hands, which is the standard mantra in Hollywood amongst writers and directors. Actors can be open about their religious beliefs, but writers and directors, especially writers, love to show off we're too intellectually superior to believe in all this stuff, right? And yeah, that's like a mantra again. It's almost like a social status thing. I'm smarter than all these dumb religious people, right? And I've often shocked people by being the writer in the room goes, well, the existence of God is self-evident. What are you talking about? And they're like, what? Someone said that? It's like, what? And I was like, what? You can't, you can't see it? Are you blind? And they don't know how to respond to that, right? Yeah. And so, but that's the kind of thing. Somebody who doesn't understand religion will misrepresent it. Same thing that happened in the horrific movie Prometheus, right? I mean, it's a garbage movie, right? It's not just it's garbage as objectively.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It also messes up the alien mythos, but what offended me the most was it was somehow some kind of commentary on religious faith written by Damon Lindelof, who clearly has none, and he doesn't understand why would people believe in God. And
I know, like the whole thing with Elizabeth Shaw, and they're always mocking her, and then the whole thing.
But she's also an idiot.
Actually, it's like a movie that I like, and yeah.
So I mean, but that's again, Mr. Lindelof. Who I'm guessing is very likely to be one of the standard Hollywood, there's no God, I'm smarter than everybody else. I'm guessing that's no evidence not to believe that's true. And look what he does with it. And the poor thing with Ridley Scott is a brilliant filmmaker, but he's also been said openly in his interviews, I'm an atheist. And so he's also got that materialist worldview. So when given a bad script by Damon Lindelof, he didn't have the inner wisdom to see that the script didn't work.
Right.
He was in the same place intellectually. So it was a movie that was written from here and not
Seems
from
like
here.
many of them are, though. It seems like many of them are in Hollywood. I wonder why that is, that a large portion of Hollywood today's Hollywood seems to be a spiritually corrupt. Like not, and even close to atheism. Like the idea that
they're open.
They are. I mean, I don't
it's
know
very
personally.
secularism everywhere, and very
they're
secularism
materialists. I mean, you can be secular and religious. You can say, I keep my religious beliefs to myself. That's fine. They are materialistic in their worldview. There's nothing beyond what the five senses tells you. Which is silly because it's artists. I'm sure everyone on this panel is an artist in some form, right? And you are channeling something bigger than you when you create. Right?
I know, and they cheat people of faith. They look down on us so much. You're like, oh, it's like the Obi-Wan says, oh, you're hokey religion or whatever.
That's exactly Han Solo represents that. But even Han Solo eventually comes.
Han Solo.
May the Force be with you when he says it at the end of the movie, right?
Yep.
He's been convinced, right?
Yep.
And so.
Yeah.
So
I've never
had that conversation.
I've never heard it said that way, Cameron. But the way you just said that about connecting with an audience here instead of here, how important do you think that any faith, whatsoever it is, to get an audience to believe in the story you're telling? How important is that as a writer to have that connection?
Well, again, when I say faith, I'm just talking about faith as an experience, right? I'm not talking about religious ideas or dogmas. You can have any belief you want. Faith is an experience that there is something beyond the five senses that our soul can experience internally that cannot necessarily be put into words, right? And that is a common human experience. Because we internally experience it, we share it with others, and in the process, religions develop for us to be able to communicate and share that experience, right? But I believe it is inherently programmed into the human DNA. And so you have to actually actively shut down, or at least try to tamper down your inner experience of that by using your mind and telling yourself it's not real. Your own experiences aren't real. Your own, because everyone, it's like when, whenever someone says to me, whenever someone's aggressive about something, it's always fighting themselves. They're like, I don't believe in UFOs. I don't believe in aliens. And I think you're crazy for believing it.
Right.
One time there was this silver disc flying over my house. And you actually do believe in it, but you just don't want to face it, right? And so that's what it is.
Yeah.
For a conflict, right? Every atheist I've ever met is fighting themselves.
Yep. Because
when the moment you're talking, I was like, you've never had a strange coincidence that you can't explain? Like, you never thought, thinking about some friend of yours from college from 20 years ago, and suddenly they call you out of nowhere at exactly the moment? You've never had that experience that defies the laws of probability? Of course they've had those experiences. But they're not a coincidence. No, it's not. The odds of it being coincidence are bigger than the odds of the universe. Coming.
Amen.
I mean, it's
Amen.
insane. But they're in denial because the universe. In Islam, we have a verse in the Quran that says God will show you the signs on the horizons and within yourselves. So external to you, all the way to the end of the horizon, are signs of God's existence, and within yourself. You have to deny everything. You have to be in a constant state of nope. Nothing there. Nope, nothing there. You have to be in that state.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean I'm not preaching any specific religious ideology.
No, I get it.
Experience of something bigger than the five senses is inherent to the human condition.